Good evening. Good evening. Thank you guys so much for returning to another episode of the Rehab Your Life podcast. My guest today is one of the contributing authors to my latest book, an anthology called Nothing Can Stop the Promises of God, Not Even COVID-19. I have Mr. Kamil Ishola with me. Welcome to the Rehab Your Life podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You are welcome. Thank you for making time in your busy schedule to be able to participate in the podcast. And so, like I told you as we were preparing, this is going to be just a quick teaser interview because we want everyone to be able to go out and purchase the book. So in case you guys are not aware, I know I've been coming on pretty much every week telling you about it, but in case you're not aware, this is the book, and it is 7 authors that have come together to be able to share their experience with COVID. And so I only have just 5 questions for you. Like I said, it's going to be just a really quick teaser, nothing that you have to really stress about. So the first question, what made you want to share your experience with COVID?
Well, it was such a different experience. Of course, I didn't experience any of the symptoms. And so I basically wanted to just, be one of the ones to expound on what I experienced, from not having any symptoms whatsoever. So,
yeah, COVID has affected everybody in random ways. Some people have some significant symptoms like I did, and then others, may have had a sniffle. Others are like, I got it. What do you mean? And so nonetheless, we all had to quarantine and to make sure that we were not unsuspectingly passing it along to others. And so I think that, like you were saying, being able to share that perspective also let others know that you can actually have a positive diagnosis, but still not have any symptoms like what was showing on TV.
Correct.
And so, can you just give us a little nugget about your story within the book in reference to how you dealt with it, having to be quarantined, although you didn't really, have any symptoms? What was going through your mind?
The main thing that was going through my mind was the safety of my family. First of all, I felt like I'm strong. I'm gonna be okay. So I shouldn't. Everything was okay. Sorry about that. But yeah,
No, no
everything was
worries.
okay. So, but that was basically it. The main thing was.
Okay, you muted yourself.
Sorry.
No worries.
So yes, like I was saying, the main thing was making sure that my children are okay.
Is she want you to pick you up? Want you to pick her up?
Yes, he just
Go,
ran up in the room
go
just
ahead, pick him
last
up.
minute.
Go
Okay,
ahead, pick
sorry.
him up. Let him get in the camera.
All right. Okay. All right. Say
There
hello.
we go. So, what is Daddy doing?
Say hi. Okay. So, but like I said, the main thing was making sure that my family was safe, that they did not, contract, COVID from me. It was tough because, like I said, it was during Christmas time, and so during Christmas time, the last thing you want to be doing is stuck in a room for 14 days. You can't hold or kiss your family or see them open the gifts or anything like that. So that's really what was going through my head, the entire time. I would say, and just taking some time to kind of exercise a little more, as I stated before in the book, I built up my workout regimen during that time, so I wasn't
Yeah.
going to let it get me down.
Yeah, a lot of people really focus on that self-care aspect of it because it really was for me and I think several of us where you just had to have a positive mindset, and you just had to make sure you stayed focused on getting through it and not letting just what was going on in the news really get you down
Correct.
because you just didn't know how it was going to play out. Thank God you didn't have any of those major symptoms, but you just didn't know. And
Right.
so even though they were saying, sometimes it'll set in 5 days later. So as you're counting down that 14 days, you're probably wondering, is this going to get any worse? And like you said, making sure you are protecting your family. And I see you have little ones. So of course you want to make sure that they don't get sick because something like a virus could really take somebody down.
Yes, yes, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely
Yeah,
right.
and it was taking down, grown people, let alone people who, um, were able to kind of fight it and get through it. So, question number 2: have you ever written before?
No, no. Other than having to write for my master's program, no, not for a book or anything. I haven't.
Okay. So, what was your experience like? I know we originally kind of talked about maybe kind of transcribing for you or being able to just kind of, have help you to recollect, what was going through your head during that time. And we had some communication things where we didn't get linked up, like we hoped we would, but, so is life. And so being able to reflect back and put those thoughts down on paper, was that difficult?
You know what? Initially it was, but it helped me to realize that I am a better writer if I just sit down and just take the time and get it out. A lot of times I guess I'll try to just write something real quick, but this took some real thought and everything, and I thank you for it. I actually appreciated the opportunity to be able to sit down and kind of put my thoughts on paper, pen and paper. So
Yeah, I know for me, it was also very kind of therapeutic because one of the things that I had to fuss at my son about was he's really kind of nonchalant, really laid back. And I was like, Mom has what they're talking about on and it's like this is really something that we all went through where people were passing away, left and right. And so to be able to take a moment to reflect and write out your experience, I felt like it was a very valuable thing to do. That's why I wanted it to be an anthology so that it was not just my experience, it was multiple people's experience. And I thank you as a guy for participating because a lot of times it's a lot of women getting together and we're telling our stories, but it was you and also Mr. Venus Bailey who also shared you guys' story as well. And he actually did have some symptoms. So it was interesting to see how, you really didn't, but he did. So thank you so
yeah.
much for, taking that time. And prior to experiencing COVID in the way that you did you believe that it was real or as bad as the media portrayed it? Because that was one of the main reasons why I wanted to write the book was because media was really pumping fear. So did you
Right.
believe what you were seeing on TV?
In all honesty, at first, I truly didn't, and then for me to have the negative, the positive test, but no symptoms whatsoever. It kind of put doubt in my head. I felt like you mentioned, the media is pumping a lot of fear, but as time went on, I began to say, okay, this is real. It's something that we definitely have to be serious about. So, but yes, initially, no, I was like, okay, no, this is another plot.
Because you said you even knew of a few people that had actually got COVID as well, right?
Correct, I did, family and friends, yes.
And there were their symptoms a little bit more significant than yours?
I had a family member who didn't have any symptoms. I had another family member who did, and her symptoms were very significant.
Yeah, I had a family member that actually passed away from COVID. But again, a lot of people had some underlying health conditions.
Right.
And so that was a really big factor in how people fared with COVID as well. And that was one of the things that where, with my experience having some underlying health conditions, it was kind of like, oh man, I got COVID. So, but I made it through that, thank God. But definitely, like a lot of people who were experiencing some underlying health conditions, it did make it worse. So, number 4, I didn't share the title with many of you until we had our authors meeting. And so I've been wondering, what did you think of the title when I first shared it with you, which is Nothing Can Stop the Promises of God, Not Even COVID-19. So like when you heard that title, what did you think?
I hooped. I was like, man, this is perfect. It was. It was right on time. I couldn't. I don't think you could have come up with a better title than that.
Yeah, I love the title, how it just dropped. And so, is there a particular promise that you are standing on, that you are believing God for?
Is there a particular promise that He'll never put more on me than I can bear? No weapon formed against me shall prosper. You know.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And especially, like you said, with having children, your focus was making sure that your family was protected and that, you took the brunt onto yourself and quarantined yourself. So that way you were protecting your family. So that is so awesome.
Yes. Yes.
And so the last question number 5, what would you tell others if they were to contract COVID?
Stay prayerful. And ensure that you are taking your vitamins, you are eating healthy, keep a positive mind frame. That's the biggest thing. I think a lot of times we tend to let the our negative mind frame, tend to wear us down, and it makes us sick.
Yeah.
Um, so I definitely would say, stay prayerful and take care of yourself. Be sure to take care of yourself. So move around as much as you can, even if you have pain. Try to move around as much as you can.
Yeah, those are some really good points because, the mindset is key. Because of course you have high fever, you have cough, you had all these different symptoms that people were experiencing. And it can make you sluggish. It can make you want to sleep all day. It can make you, just get down and depressed. And so those are some of the typical symptoms. And like you were saying, move your body, be able to get up, go outside, get some vitamin D, let the sunlight hit you. Definitely taking your vitamins. That's key. They've talked about how zinc and vitamin D, vitamin C, those things. And then also, turmeric and a lot of those elderberry, a lot of the very healthy vitamins and supplements that are out there just to boost your immune system will help you to be able to overcome it a lot quicker. Make sure you're eating, like you said, putting healthy foods into your body, making sure you're hydrated. All of those things are definitely going to play a factor in how quickly you can bounce back from having COVID.
Yep. True.
So, there you have it, a one-on-one interview with Mr. Kamil Ishola, who is one of the contributing authors of our book, Nothing Can Stop the Promises of God. So you can pick up your copy today and learn more about the experiences that each one of us had with COVID. The book is available on both Amazon.com and Barnes & Noble. Also, if you attended the Renewed Vision Conference in 2019, we will be doing it again this year, so save the date, October 23rd. We will have dynamic speakers, vendors, and a gala in the evening. This year, we're going to try and do it big. We've all been home. We haven't had anywhere to dress up and get pretty. So tickets are available for pre-order for the conference now. And if you want be a speaker or a vendor or know someone who would be interested in vending, be on the lookout for those posts. So Kamil, thank you so much for your time this evening. I see that you are busy with the kids, so I'm going to let you get back to tending to the family and doing what you do. And I hope to be able to work with you again in the future. I will have a link for any of those individuals who are supporting Kamil and getting copies of the book. They will, the link will be in the comments later this evening. So if you want to support him and get a copy of the book, just let us know. Thank you so much, Camille.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.